فيا أيها القاري به متمسكا مجلا له في كل حال مبجلا. بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Great to have you with us in this Tajweed presentation. My name is Khalid Abu Shafi', and today inshallah we are going to talk about a little bit deeply into the makhraj or the makharij of the tongue, the points of articulations of the tongue. And the lisan in Arabic language, as it mentioned, makharijul lisan, the word lisan has been mentioned in the Quran in so many verses and many places in the ayat. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the word lisan, it means in the Arabic language, or for the Arabs specifically, it is the language or the fasaha, which is the classical or the standard language that the Arab used to use. So the word lisan, it's a part of the body, which is the tongue in Arabic language. But in the Quran specifically, when it mentioned, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say, بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ, with the language of the Arabs, لِتَكُونَ مِنَ الْمُنذِرِينَ بِلِسَانٍ عَرَبِيٍّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has descended upon Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam this Quran with the language of Arabic language. And when we say اختلاف ألسنتكم, that the differences of your tongues, it means here the differences of your languages. So the meaning of lisan in Arabic, it means also part of the body, which is al-jariha in Arabic language. And also it is in the same time the language that is spoken. So the Arabs, when they say lisan, means a language. So let's see this makhraj. Most of the, this is called the taghlib actually in a grammar, linguistically, it's called the taghlib. They call them lisan, but actually not all the letters come from the lisan and from the tongue. When we look at the parts of the lisan, the parts of the makhraj, there are 18 letters. These 18 letters are articulated specifically from the lisan, which is the tongue. But the rest of the Arabic language left over, which is a 10 or 11, if we say there are 29 or 28, then there will be 4 from the lips and the 6 from the throat, huruf al-halq. The rest of the 18 are from the tongue. So either they come from the tip of the tongue, the middle of the tongue, the deepest part of the tongue, or the sides of the tongue. So all these parts or the parts of the lisan contribute in producing most of the Arabic language sounds and most of the Arabic language characters and letters. And that's why by taghlib, by generalization and by broadening the word in a grammar, it's called in Arabic a taghlib. And that taghlib al-jam' or taghlib al-tathniya. Taghlib al-jam', taghlib al-tathniya means to make two things becomes as one in giving the title for one, but actually it means the both of them. For example, if you say Al-Umaran, it doesn't mean Umar and Umar, but it means Umar ibn Khattab and Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. And when we say in Arabic language Al-Qamaran, it doesn't mean Qamar and Qamar, but it means Qamar and Ash-Shams, which is the sun and the moon. Qamaran means 2 moons. Umaran means 2 Umars, but it means Abu Bakr and Umar, because it's called taghlib, broadening, generalizing, and bringing that terminology of in a grammar. It technically means to make the two. We mean 2, but we make one word to give the title for 2. Another example, Al-Aswadan, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ma kana yut'imukuma, what was your food in your house for Al-Mu'minin? She used to say Al-Aswadan, which is the 2 blacks, which means dates and the water. Al-Aswadan, al-tamr wal-ma. This is called tathniyat al-taghlib. I went a little bit deep into the grammar, but it's very important to understand these things in Arabic language. We come to the stage understanding Tajweed, ilm al-qira'at is all related to the Arabic language. And taghlib al-jam', it means in this manner that lisan. But actually, when we say lisan, it doesn't mean in all the parts, and all the language and all the letters of Arabic language and sounds come from the tongue, but it comes from other parts. But because it's used all the time, in most of the cases, lisan, that's why it's called bilisanin Arabiyyin mubin. And let's go, inshallah, deeply into the topic. Now, the letters that comes from the middle part, which I'm going to talk in this video, and also the deepest part, which is when I say the deepest, means it's far from the lips, from the mouth towards the tongue, so towards the throat. So the first part of the throat and the last part of the tongue, they meet in a border which is slightly next to the epiglottis, which is a laha in Arabic language. So it's here. That part represents the qaf and the kaf, and then the middle part represents the jim and the sheen and the ya. As we can see in this presentation now, it's the deepest part, which is the farthest distance from the mouth, and that is the first part of the tongue which we are going to talk about. And in the first makhraj the ulama mentioned, and Imam al-Jazari in his muqaddimah, is al-qaf. And the letter qaf, it has an echoing sound. It is harf mufakham, it is a little bit strong. So when we pronounce the qaf, we try to pronounce it audibly, and as it is qa, by opening slightly the lips vertically and making that sound and echoing by saying qa. And you can see the vibration where I have made the arrow to mention that it touches the last part of the epiglottis. So it makes you can see that it goes a little bit up into the roof of the mouth slightly, which is the back of the roof of the mouth. But it is the first part of the tongue which is mentioned. So you say qa, 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 qu, qi, aq. As soon as you say, make the sukun and make that sound of aq, you can see how the sound is cut. There is no air coming out, and it's a full mouth. It's not an empty mouth. Aq, qa. Open your mouth slightly and say qa, qa, qalu, qala. Now the next part, it is the kaf. The kaf is slightly same makhraj, but slightly a little bit different than the qaf. The kaf is empty mouth. That's number one. The second is the kaf touches the roof of the mouth, a little bit touches the bone of the roof of the mouth, which is further towards the tongue, towards the lips, I'm sorry. So it is not where the arrow is now, where it mentioned the qaf, but slightly towards the touching the bone of the roof of the mouth and making that ak, kana, al-kawthar. So this is the makhraj of the kaf. So in this presentation, it's the middle part. It's not the deepest, which is the farthest. We mentioned it touching the epiglottis, which we are. If we're starting from the right side of this presentation, as you can see, the right is the epiglottis, which is close to the throat, and the left side is the lips. The deepest or the farthest is the qaf and the kaf. Further, a little bit further, the first letter is the jim. And the jim, as Imam al-Jazari mentioned, the jim and then the sheen and then the ya, they come from the middle part of the tongue. It's called wasatul lisan. So there is aqsa lisan, then wasatul lisan. So in the wasatul lisan, which is the middle part of the tongue, the middle part touches the roof of the mouth, and the sound stops as exactly as the qaf. Aq, aj. But the kaf, there is some air coming. It doesn't stop slightly, but it makes that rakhawa, it makes that hams in the kaf. So you would say, ak, rabbuk. So that air, hams coming, is different than qaf. Qaf doesn't have that. Ak, it stopped there. Aj, it stopped there. Now the jim, it is not gim. You say al-gumu'a or al-gamal or al-gibal. It is not also ya, al-yimal, al-yab. Maybe in parts of some dialects and of some languages. So it is not either ja, as some countries may sound al-jamal or al-jibal, or you would say, for example, ijtama'a. Actually, it is not either the sha or the cha. Ijtama'a, ijtama'a, ijtama'a. The sound stops completely and touches the bone, the roof of the mouth. قعر اللسان, say So if we don't know how to do that, simply, if you can sound the letter dal in Arabic language, just say ad, and bring your tongue slightly to the back, which is use the middle part and bring to the back slightly where you are, you will find out the letter of jim. Ad, aj, ad, aj. That's the jim. And it is not, so if you say, for example, if you wanted to sound the letter uj, ujtuthat, instead of saying ujtuthat or ushtuthat. So we have to be careful how to sound that letter. And then the next letter, which is close to that letter, there are from the same makhraj, but a lot of people confused by making jim as sheen or sheen as jim. This is the letter sheen, which is slightly, there is a gap there, as you can see. The jim is different. The jim does not have any gap. Exactly the same as the qaf. Jim and qaf are the same by holding and touching that parts. The parts touch each other without leaving the gap. But the sheen has a gap, and that let the air slightly go. So if you say ishtara ash-shams, you see? But if you say, you can't say the jim, say ijtama'a, you say ijtama'a, ajara. But if you say the sheen, you say ashar, ishtara. So there is a gap there, and that gap lets the air coming out, which is different than jim. And by understanding a little bit of makhraj and a little bit of the qualities and the sifat and the attributes of the letter, which are coming inshallah in the next coming months presentations, we will discover the puzzle of this tajweed and Arabic language letters and sounding. And this is very important. A person who understands the makharij and the sifat, how it sounds and how it's produced, then there will not be any problem anymore. Of course, with the guidance of the mashayikh and the qurra and the ulama, you will get more stressing on the letters that you have a weakness. And every human being is different. So someone may be from a different country, geographically they have a habit to pronounce the za or the zal or the ra or the zay or the sheen differently. But by knowing and understanding and focusing and stressing, and with the guidance of the qurra and the mashayikh, then inshallah it will not be any problem anymore. So similarly for the letter ya, it's exactly similar to sheen, but the only thing that ya gives more air and more the last part of the tongue, which is the represented here next to the throat, it is much open and gives more air towards the ya. So if you say ya ayyuha, yuminu or yu'minu, so the ya is pronounced by giving a little bit of gap. It's not like the jim, it is not like the qaf, but this gap also, it has a letter, it's called the rakhawa, that the air flows within the cavity of the roof of the mouth and the tongue, so which is in the middle part of the mouth. So you say ya, you, ye. So it's pronounced like this. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening and for watching. Inshallah, I will mention more about the common mistakes of these letters. And please come back again. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
هنيئا مريئا والداك عليهما ملابس أنوار من التاج والحلى